All right. So like I said, welcome everybody to the chapter report leader webinar breakout. We're very excited to be hosting this. And like I said, I hope y'all get to learn a little bit of knowledge about what the chapter report is. So, hello everyone. My name is Brendan Bolaños de Moraes. I am a junior studying construction management at the University of Texas at Arlington, currently the president for my ship chapter, and I've been an officer for 3.5 years. Fun fact, I'm actually half Brazilian and half Mexican. Throughout my time with ship, I have been able to be selected to go to the White House um, my sophomore year to talk about the next generation of Hispanic leaders. And also this past year, I was awarded the most outstanding ship member of the year in Region 5.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gabriela Sanchez. I'm currently a junior studying civil engineering at the University of Texas at Arlington, and I'm currently the vice president for our SHEP UTA chapter. This is actually my second year running or being an officer. I was a SHEP TINA director my sophomore year, which I really, really enjoyed. A small fun fact about me is that I'm very crafty. I like to paint and crochet.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leslie Alvarado. I'm currently a junior studying civil engineering at UTA, and I'm currently serving as the secretary. Last year, actually, my sophomore year, I was the public relations for this chapter. And then a little fun fact about me, I used to do competitive boxing for 8 years.
Oh, let's go ahead and get started. So, what is the chapter report? Maybe a lot of people have heard about this, maybe a lot of people haven't. But the chapter report is a document that highlights all your chapter's activities throughout the semester. So, this could be anything big, anything small. This is the report where you want to brag about your chapter and show all your accomplishments that you've done throughout your semester, whether it be in the fall semester or the spring semester. This is the report where you want to show off. So, one of the few things on how we started off on our report, we looked over the last semester's report and also the Ship National template or the Ship National report that Ship National provides on the website. One of the things that we saw was that we missed a lot of visuals. We didn't have a lot of graphs and we weren't going into depth into our report. So, as president, I made sure that we had a meeting every other day to see our progress throughout the month before it was due. And also, when starting this report, you want to make sure you have a good team who understands what's happening. With the strong team, it becomes easier to write this report instead of, four clueless people not knowing what to do, and then boom, they're panicking. It's the day of the report that is due, and they don't know what's happening. So Ship National actually provides a template on the Ship National website that you can go, and as you see on my left here, that's actually the template that they provide. Using this ensures that you're using the right format. Make sure that you follow the template because it will help you organize all the information that is there. With this, make sure that you read the instructions carefully because there are a lot of details that are provided in there. You don't want to miss out on a single detail that is there, because if you miss out on it on the report, then you can be deducted with small little points, and you don't want that. Uh, I know a lot of us here want to win an award when they go to the national convention. We are very excited to say that we were awarded the silver chapter of the year this past semester or this past year when we attended the 50th anniversary at the convention. And with this, we were able to get a 17 out of 18 score. So, like I said, making sure that you are looking over the details and like it says here on the right, on the red, do not change font size, styles, colors, or page margins. Trust me, those are small little things that will get you whenever you are turning in your report. following the rubric carefully. Like I said, the rubric can feel a little tedious since these small little details can impact the report's evaluation. Use the rubric and work while working on each section to meet each criteria and maximize points. Like I said, those small details really do impact the report. One area that we looked at so that we can ensure that the rubric was using all the contact and formatting was making sure that once we finish our report, we have someone else look at it and rereading it, making sure that we have the right font size, style, annotations, and other rubrics or other key information that the rubric provides.
All
I'll
right.
pass it on to Gabby.
Yes. So if this is your first time doing your report, or if you're looked at the rubric and it's really confusing and you might have a couple of questions, you're more than welcome to reach out for help. Don't be afraid to reach out to your regional leaders. They are there to help you out. And last report was actually my first time doing anything like that, and I know it was also Leslie's very first time doing it. So we were kind of confused on it, and we ended up reaching out to our regional student representative, Gabby, and our regional graduate representative, Miguel. And with their guidance, we were able to figure out what we should include, what should we exclude, and just got a lot more clarity on what the rubric was telling us to do. And just making sure we were following everything and making sure we don't get that many deducted points. So another big thing that you want to make sure you focus on is how you manage your time. So we suggest you starting your report at least a month in advance before the due date. Now, this might seem like a really long time, but if you wait like 2 weeks before it's due, trust me, you're going to be stressing and you don't want that. So also establishing a timeline and just milestones for each section will help you be more motivated to doing it, and it'll just make the process a lot more smoothly. You could also delegate responsibility among the executive board, and this just makes it a lot easier for it to not feel as overwhelming. You can split the work out equally, or I know some people might have more time than others, so that just kind of goes based off of your chapter and your executive board. So just make sure each person knows their role, and like Brendan said, we would meet up every other day, sometimes once a week. It just kind of depended on how many questions we had, or if just checking up on each other, making sure we were all doing our part. We all had internships over the summer, and I know a lot of people are still working and doing their internships. So just make sure y'all stay communicated. And something that we also did was we have a calendar where we share each other's schedules, so that way we know what times everyone has available to meet up. Maybe just for like 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be for a whole hour or anything. Again, it's just to check up on each other and in case you have any questions about anything. And of course, the earlier you prepare, the more of a polished report you'll have and the higher points you'll get. And like Brendan mentioned, you're also gonna have to include any graphs or any numerical data like event attendance, funds raised, and membership statistics to provide measurable insights on your report. But you also want to make sure to balance that out with your context. So to the right, we actually have a small picture with an example from our report. The picture basically shows a bar graph showing our mentorship event attendance from fall of 2023 and spring of 2024. Now, the first paragraph that you see to the right of that, where it says mentorship efforts, is basically just a brief explanation on what our goal was for our SHEP events, and just basically summarizing the purpose of it. And then the second paragraph that you see down there is summarizing what the graph is representing. So including any numbers like percent increases, the number of mentorships/mentors, and the impact it had to the value it holds to our SHIP chapter. So just making sure you include why you're showing that graph is very important. You don't want to just add a graph and just because it looks pretty, you want to make sure it's actually valuable to your report. And this can get very tricky. So again, if you need some ideas, you're more than welcome to reach out for help. And you also want to make sure you're being specific and concise. So just focusing on the most impactful events that your SHIP chapter had and the results of that. Using things like bullet points or short paragraphs to summarize all that information out. You don't want to make your paragraph super big or super small. Just make them, a good amount of size. Avoid any unnecessary details by focusing on the outcomes rather than the steps taken. To the left of here, we have, again, another example from our report. I believe for this report, you won't end up having that section where it says summary of the chapter plan, but you will have to have the activity summary and the future activities sections. So you can see that the paragraphs are very, they're not too big or too long, but essentially they are just summarizing the main points of our chapter, things that we were able to accomplish. For example, one of our most popular events was painting with Shiptinas. And in that paragraph, we're explaining, briefly explaining what it was and the outcome of it. And you're more than welcome to compare your results to last semester's or even last year's report, just so you can show more how big like your chapter has been able to improve. Please. Now I'll be passing it on to Leslie.
Okay, so here we're going to talk about some strategies your chapter can take. We, like Gabby and Brendan already mentioned, we state the objectives for each initiative or any event, like increasing memberships or any funds. And then we also briefly explain the actions taken to achieve the goals and then tie them into measurable accounts. Like for examples, we usually have a taco sale every semester. And then we explain a little bit about the taco sale, how it has been increasing. And then, like they said, put numbers in there. Also highlight the metrics like growth rates, participation levels, or financial achievements that your chapter has had in the semester, and then discuss both short-term wins and then how they align to the long-term goals. For example, how has an event been successful? Like how has it impacted the community, or how have you done partnerships? A way we keep track of like all of our statistics or matrix, we use either Microsoft or Google Forms you could use. We usually create a forms, sign-in forms for every event we have. And then from there, we just take the number and then we use it, as well as our officers. They write a small description of what event the event they're hosting and what's happening during their event. One last tip, don't forget that the report reflects on your chapter, so make sure to be creative on what your chapter does and how your chapter stands out from other chapters. Make sure to always look over the chapter reports from the previous semesters, as they do help. Like Gabby mentioned, last year was our first time, so we did look at the previous semesters chapter reports, and they are pretty good guidance. So yeah, always also reach out to any person that might be able to help you.
So I do want to say thank you everyone so much for coming out to this. Two key reminders. The report is due January 15th. So it's coming up pretty soon. You definitely do want to make sure that you are already planning out with your team when we should be starting off this report and keeping little details and little dates to make sure that the report is completed. Also, the second report, which y'all still have time, is not due till June 15th. So you still have 6 months to do that. But of course, the first priority right now is the first report that's coming up January 15th. Like I said, and I'll keep repeating it, make sure that you use the rubric and follow the template so that way you can ensure and maximize the points that you get. You don't want to lose any points just because you had, let's say, for an example, you had a font size of 13 and it was supposed to be 12. You don't want to lose just a point because of that. And with that, like I said, thank you so much for all of y'all being here. Is there any questions that y'all may have for us? Our chapter is new. Is it possible you can please share an example of of a successful report? Yeah, I mean, I currently don't have my report pulled up right now on my laptop, but one of an example of having a successful report is making sure, I believe the report says that you have to have 6 pages, right? That is already something that you can ensure that you're creating and you're being successful with it. Another way of being successful in the report, like we mentioned, go into detail about an event that really outstands your entire semester. You want to make sure that you are including, this isn't the CMT report, right? This isn't the CMT. This isn't the Excel. This isn't where you're going to be talking about every single event that you've had throughout the year. Highlight the ones that were impactful or outstanding, your highest ones. So that way it really does show on the report, oh, wow, your chapter is doing amazing in this. Your chapter is doing amazing in that. Uh, so yes, that is some examples that I would say would be a successful report. Gabby, Leslie, do any of y'all want to add on to that?
It's kind of what Brendan already said, but just make sure you're including all the main your main successful events throughout your semester in your report. I know a lot of chapters do a lot of stuff throughout the semester, but make sure to keep in mind to include just the things that stood out to you, the things you're most proud of, and basically brag about it. It's like how Brendan said, this is your chance to brag about your chapter. So take your time and just you know just brag about your chapter.
Yeah, I mean, like they both mentioned, like just brag about the chapter and show how it's been improving, how that one specific event has shown growth within your member retention or even like member increasing or anything that is gonna make it look better for your chapter.
Oh, hi Brendan. If I give you my email address, would you please send me? Oh, this is sent directly. Yes, I can definitely. I'm asking Gabby if she can send our chapter report on here, so that way y'all can understand uh what we did throughout what we did at our report. Like I said, we received a 17 out of 18, so that's actually our highest that we've ever scored on a report, and we're very proud to say that. And like I said, we also won the silver chapter of the year. So yes, give us 1 second and we'll definitely share y'all our chapter report as an example. So that way y'all can understand what we did. And that was really good. Um, what are other questions that y'all may have for us?
I think Juan has his hand raised. You can come
Oh,
off mute, Juan, and ask your question.
Yes, thank you, Anna. Brandon and UTA team, I wanted to know how you guys go about report two, which is due in June, but presumably is due after the new leadership has been either elected or onboarded. Do you guys have the team from the previous semester write up that report too, or is it the new leadership that has just come onto the board that, you know, writes up the successes of the year?
yeah. So one of the things that we do for the report too, as elections already happen, we like to have the old e-board and the new e-board come in and work on this together. So that way the new e-board can have a little bit of experience and understand what goes on in the first report. And that's actually what we did. And so just having that guidance and making sure that the old exec teaches the new exec and giving them either a one section to do or multiple sections to do so that way they can be able to successfully understand it and learn it. Obviously, it doesn't take it doesn't you can't learn how to you can't write a report in under a day, right? It's going to be very hard and very unsuccessful. And so definitely plan this out after your election and after you know who all won the elections. Make sure that you set a time with your new exec so that way they can so that way you have time like a month and a half to be able to sit down and actually understand what the report is. And like I said in the beginning, this report is only as strong as if only your all your team is understanding what's happening. So if one person is down and they're messing up the report, you wouldn't want that, right? So just making sure that you have enough time to be able to communicate with your old and new exec and being able for the new exec to be able to learn this so that way they can teach the next generation of Hispanic leaders.
Thank you, Brandon. Maybe another question in regards to that. When it comes to the division of labor and involving everybody in the team contributing to the report, do you guys or have you seen success in breaking it down per section and like the person focusing on recruitment writes that section, or just dividing it in a different way so that it's not just one or two people writing the report?
Yeah. So what we did, we looked at the report and we looked at the rubric to see who is stronger in what area. And one thing that we did was uh we had 8 people in our report working on this. So we had 2 people basically working on each section. And uh one person is either writing it and then reviewing it or vice versa. And that's how we did it to break up the report. I know a lot of people would rather just take on full control and then let other people keep on revising. But I definitely think that looking or writing the report and separating it into 2 people would definitely help out so that way it's quicker and you're not having to worry about, oh my gosh, I need to write 8 pages instead of you're thinking, oh, I only have to write 2 paragraphs and then I'm done. That's definitely a good way to psychologically change your mind. I don't know if Gabby or Leslie want to go jump in on this.
Yeah, something else you could do or think about is each section, you know how there's like a section, each section has like at least half a or maximum half a page, 1 page, and then half a page. What you could do is if for each section, split it up. For example, if you're doing it with your executive board, it's 4 people. You can do each person does half a page, so that way it doesn't feel too overwhelming where one person is doing like one whole section. Because like I said, it does get overwhelming and just you can split it up that way. That's what I was thinking about doing for this year because I volunteered to help out help split determine who's gonna do what section. So that's the kind of what we're gonna go for this year, and just kind of see how that turns out.
Yeah, like they both mentioned, like separating into like different sections for different people is better for us, because everyone is also busy during like this time or during the summertime. So some of us like work like full time, or some of us like have other stuff to do. So I feel like in sections it'll be more beneficial. And then like at the end, whenever we were about to submit it, we all sat down in a meeting, and we looked over the report, and then we went over it, which I think was pretty good, so that no one got like a lot of work. So I think that's pretty good.
One thing I'd like to add on, since maybe the transition of old to new e-board, sometimes the old e-board doesn't want to work on it anymore. They're like already done with their position. So they're like, okay, you know what? I'll let the new people take care of it. Definitely make sure that you're on top of this, and because that's something that could happen. So definitely making sure that making sure that that doesn't happen with the old to new exec, just leaving it all to them and having to figure it all on their own. Let the old exec be a mentorship to the new exec.
Awesome. Thank you so
Of
much, guys.
course. Do we have any questions?
I do want to say that I shared a link to a Word doc for our report. I don't know if any of y'all have tried opening it, but let me know if it doesn't work so I can try it again.
Yay. I'm glad it worked. Let's see. Any questions? Any questions? Don't be afraid to be asking any questions. We're here to help you out. And either way, if you may have missed something, you can definitely go back to it. And it's being recorded and be posted on YouTube. So you can definitely come back and look at this in case. No questions.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know for last year, for the last year for my chapter, we kind of lost some points on like the lesson learned page for some section. I think we lost 1 point. I kind of want to see like how do you guys handle the lesson learned aspect, and like how fully in depth like should we go when we elaborate on certain parts on the report?
Do you mind repeating that one more time?
Oh yeah. So you know how there's some portions that talks about like lesson learned. So it's like what are some ways you guys can improve as a chapter? So we kind of lost some points last year on that. So I kind of want to some advice from you guys. Is how do you guys handle that? Just because like from our end, it was kind of minimal, but like how fully in depth should we go into? I think that's the main question.
Yeah, I get you. So definitely, you don't want to be too brief about it, right? I think everyone wants to improve their chapters some way, somehow. And so just thinking like if Eric, I believe you're the president, correct?
Yeah.
And with that, I feel like every president just has something that they want to change. Look, think about something that you could be doing with your chapter and include that on there. I'd say be detailed about it. Because not everyone can not everyone is the president, right? You're either president for a year, maybe 2 years, and then it transitions to another person. Definitely write in your report what you are doing and what you want to be doing. Go detail about it so that way your promise is actually fulfilled.
Mm. Awesome. Appreciate very much, Brandon, for the advice.
Yeah, no problem. It says here that Lana, it says the template says not to change colors, for example, but it looks like you incorporated colors in section headings, etc. That I'm not seeing in the template. Your report looks nice that way. Are those colors and headings standardized, or are we allowed some latitude there? So it does. So when it's talking about that, let me go back here. Here's the report. So when it says don't change the colors, it's basically talking about this member retention right here. That's what it's talking about. Anything else, it's how you want to be creative with it. See how we have here our where's that? Our bar graphs. These are, you know, just fun creative ways to incorporate in the report. uh that's more specifically what it's talking about, of talking about the headers, not more specifically about the actual um graphs or writing about it. Or you don't want to actually put here like you don't want to put here on this paragraph, you know. Thank you. You don't want to put here like a bright red, right? Or a bright green, you know, just keep it normal. But definitely incorporate in your graph some colors so that way it doesn't look boring. Gabby, I know you focus more on this. I don't know if you want to touch in a little bit about that.
Well, like Brendan mentioned, just make sure you incorporate some color into your graphs and make it your own. I used Canva to do most of the graphs, but I know Brendan and Leslie helped out with some of them as well, and they used, I believe, Excel, which you can also incorporate color with. But yeah, for the most part, I just used Canva if y'all wanted like some sort of like website to use to do your graphs.
Any questions, comments, or concerns? Definitely, this is the time to be asking questions, everybody. If not, Anna, I think it's okay for me to wrap it up.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, now I'm gonna go ahead and go wrap it up. Thank you everyone so much for being here. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your regional leaders. For us is Region 5, so shout out anybody here that's a part of Region 5. But like our CEO says, somos ship, we are familia. We really appreciate everybody here, and I hope y'all have an amazing Christmas break.
Thank you, Brandon, Gabby, and Leslie.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Muchas
much for
gracias.
joining.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.